Welcome back to the Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City on Vegas, allnetradio.com. Finally, it's been 2 weeks since we've been on the air with Vegas All Net Radio. It's been a week since we've been on the air at all, or 2 weeks since we've been on the air at all, because last weekend we took off because our dear friend Daniel, part of our family, Mama's husband, decided to go and have a heart attack, and that was on a Saturday night. We were up all night Saturday night. And Sunday, there was just no driving on the streets with our...
Well, we were there. Most of us were there Sunday, too.
Yes.
I know I was. You were. We all were. The only reason Sierra wasn't is because she had everybody's children at her house.
So there was no sleep for the wicked, and so that's why we did not do a show Saturday. It was the first show we have ever missed in our 3.5 years of broadcasting, but it was something that we had to do, and we do not regret missing a show. But we do know Ink Spot Stories. Yes, that was what happened. I tried to put it out on all the social medias. I probably forgot one. Thank you for being in chat with us. Black Ring, thanks for being in chat with us. And Rita San Diego 3 is with us as well.
Hey, welcome, Rita.
So...
look who surprised us!
We got a surprise. We went to break a little bit early because Daniel, fresh out of the hospital, decided to join us today.
He knew we were doing a show about him today.
And they did decide to shock us.
Yeah.
They wanted to shock us.
But before we go into the story, I just want to let you all know that the nurses on the floor were calling our friend Vin Diesel.
Yes.
They said he looked like Vin Diesel.
I did see a post.
And he loved every minute.
Yes. I did see a post when Daniel finally got his phone. He was non-stop on Facebook, right? So I did see a post that you were very flattered that a lot of the ladies were calling you Vin Diesel.
It was different.
Into the mic.
I'm sorry, it was different.
It was different.
Oh, I was there when they told you that. You was blushing a little.
This fucker though, he's like doing this as he's like out of shit, looking for the phone.
Yeah, he's trying. Oh yeah, he's like, "Where's my phone? Did you plug
Sierra
it in?
Where's
and I
are
are
sitting there, and he's like, "I said you can tell me tomorrow." I said, "You want your phone?" No, you're not getting the fucking phone.
Whatever it is, it's not important. You can tell us later.
Right.
And then I was there when she finally did bring the phone, and he kept saying, because his voice was all raspy because of the tube, "Is it plugged in? Is it charged? Is it charged?"
I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the buttons. Everything was so fuzzy. It was so furry. It was messed up. I knew. For a moment, I started getting conscious back. I said, "Shit, I gotta talk to Mama." So they even tried to hold a big board in front of me with yellow legal paper, and I couldn't see the paper to write down what I needed to get done. So when they finally took the tube out, the tube went out one way, and I just swung my head the other way and said, "Pay the water bill," because I knew that we had a disconnect on it. So
although he was fucked up on his days, because I still had another week to pay the water bill, but yeah. But the funny thing is the whole time that he's out of it, and I have everybody like, swarming around me, trying to help, I'm like, he told me to pay a bill, and I don't know what bill he wanted me to pay. So I'm like, we're on the kind of like the same wavelength, because the whole time I'm thinking about, oh my God, he told me to pay a bill, and I don't know which one it is. So yeah, we were kind of connected there a little bit.
Same page.
This is a fucked up ass week, y'all.
Yeah. Amen.
No.
It is for us, so I can only imagine what it's been for you.
You know what? I appreciate friends, and I appreciate family.
We were just talking about how much we love your family.
Yes.
I mean,
seriously,
within minutes. I mean, within days.
No, within hours.
They were there in less
within
than
8 hours. They were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everyone walked in and they hugged us, and we were like part of the family. They are awesome people, and I understand your dedication to family and where it came from. Yes.
It was yeah.
Great people.
I mean, I'm used to it. It still hurts. I'm not hurts in a bad way, but
but there were so many children. It was like cockroaches. Just turn the light on. Right.
It
was hilarious.
At one point, I said my house looks like a refugee camp. There was fucking air mattresses and people everywhere. I'm like,
but how great is that?
Yes,
awesome. How great is that? And awesome. You know what I thought to myself? I said, if we didn't know we were a family, we sure know it now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
right.
We know it.
Everybody just stepped up when they needed to.
And
so.
Yeah, I'm gonna get emotional
without being asked. So.
Yeah, we love you guys, and we were scared, and we were there.
I was definitely nervous, and Mama saved my life.
Let's talk about that. Yeah,
tell us that story, Mama.
Let's do from the beginning. What were you guys doing when this occurred?
You know what? We were having a good night. I had came home from the store. I had chocolate in there. He's like, look, you can either give me some chocolate or I can come and take it to your choice. So we were like arguing about the chocolate. We were playing words with
I
friends.
remember that now.
You remember it now?
It's coming
As I'm
back.
telling him, he's starting to remember stuff because he's like, huh? But yeah, he scoped it out. I didn't even know that he could see it in the bag. But and then we were playing. We were trying to figure out words with friends and how come we didn't have a game. So we figured it out, and him and I were playing words with friends, and he was laying on the bed, and I got mad because he stacked the words, and I'm like, "Fuck, you stacked that shit. I hate that."
By the
And
way,
he's
I
like,
learned
"That's how
that.
you-"
I learned that from
Alexia.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's right, damn it.
So I got a word, and the word is regular, and
Nice.
I laid it out, and it was like triple words, so it was like 45-point word.
That's good. That's good score.
Good score for
That's
this
not bad.
for little old me, like little mama stage and playing words with friends. Okay, so I'm on kid status. But anyway, so I laid it out. I was like, yeah. So he looks at the phone, and this made this weird smile, like he saw somebody he hadn't seen in a long time. And the next thing you know, he was making these, and I'm like, oh my God. So I hit him. What the fuck? Like
You hit him all the time.
like, because I wanted him to like snap out of it or something. I don't know.
And
I don't know how, because I was laying next to him. I don't fucking know how, but I was on my feet. And I was just looking at him, and he was crawling across the bed to me, and he just looked at me, like, help me look, and he just went and collapsed. But he was still making that noise. So I swooshed him over, and I was like, okay, no, we're not going to panic. Get the phone, 911. And I said, my husband's not breathing. This is my address. And, I didn't want all the dumb shit like, oh my God, I don't know. Help me. I need to get to business.
Right.
Get to business. This is what's going on. This is where I'm at. So that's what I did that. And she's like, he needs to be on his back. I said, he is on his back. I just flipped him over. She said, where is he at on his back? And I said, he's on the bed. She said, he needs to be on the floor. Fuck. How am I going to do this by myself? I don't know how I did it. I took his arm. Mind you, my bed in my room has a platform, and then it's a king size mattress, a pillow top mattress. So it's pretty far to the floor.
Like a two-step, isn't it? Almost
Yes.
like
Yeah.
two separate layers.
Yeah,
It has-
Yes.
that's what I meant.
So
Yeah.
we're on our bed's on on its
On a
own
platform.
It's on its own platform, and then you have the floor everywhere else.
Right.
Yes. So I
So
pulled
ding
it.
ding with the big old lump in the back of my head.
So I pulled his arm as hard as I could, and he landed kind of on his side. And I, at some point during that, I must have hung up on the 911 operator. She opened my phone back up because I never answered it again. But you can see I don't know if you can see it now because so many people have called, but you could see where she opened the phone back up, and she said, I need to hear his breathing. And she said, I need you to see if you can, I need you to tilt his head back, make sure his mouth is open, his airway is clear. I said, I can't get my hand in there. His jaw was locked. I tilted his head back. And she said, I need you to open the door and make sure that they can get in. So I ran to do that, and I thought about the dog. And I was like, I don't need the dogs attacking the people that are coming to help us.
Right.
So I said, get the dog out to one of the kids that's 13. And then I went back and did what she said and put one hand over the other. And she was like, just count with me, and push every time I say a number. And that's what we did. And then next thing you know, they were standing there.
So she was having you do chest compressions.
Yes. Put your hand over and do it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She never told me to breathe. And I guess now they don't really
do it anymore.
No,
Yeah.
breathing is
they
not
don't do
relevant,
that
relevant.
part. And I just listened to her, and at first I started to panic, and I was like, no, you can't do that because you need to make sure that you can handle what you need to do. And I just and let it all go and just did what I had to do.
And you
Sorry.
did good, Mama.
You did good.
Yes.
Sorry. I thought I was going to be able to do it. Now I've told this story so many times about what happened and what I did. And we need to talk about this. And if you don't know it, if there's a kid class, if there's people, you don't never know. This guy right here last week rode 200 miles on his bike, swam 4.5 miles, and did 2 hours of water aerobics with me. Never in a million fucking years would I would I have thought that would have happened to him? And if you don't know CPR, you guys need to go do it. And I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna go do a class. I'm taking my kids to go do a class. I'm gonna find a kid class because you never know. Those few seconds they said that I did is what is the base for what they were able to do to fix everything else. And that it was very crucial to get that part done. Sorry, I thought I was gonna be able to do it without crying.
You know what? You don't got to be sorry for
No.
anything, Mama.
Do we need to take a break? Are you okay?
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
All right.
I'm good.
No one will ever judge you for crying every time you tell that story. If you tell that
No.
story 10 years from now and you cry about it, that's okay.
Yeah.
Now, DJ, as you think back about, I mean, I'm going to be blunt here. You were almost gone, brother.
Yeah.
Where does that put you now? What goes through your head now?
I'm more at peace now than I was last week.
Because?
I've gone out of my way to make sure there's no unfinished business.
Okay.
I've talked to every family member. I've told my father I appreciate him being my father. I told my mom I appreciate everything she's done for me. I told her I'm sorry for all the shit I put her through. and I let her know that I understood. I sat down and explained to my 13-year-old son with my father there that, listen, I said, Dad, you told me once upon a time when I was about 13 that as your father, the best you can do is to teach me everything you can. And he goes, I taught you everything I could teach you that you're going to need to survive as an adult by the time you're 13. Hopefully, if I can keep you alive long enough, you'll come back to your teachings and be a better man. And then I turned to my son and said, I'm telling you the same thing. I've taught you everything I can teach you. You know, where you go from here and what you do from there, you know, whether here or there, everywhere else, you know. So, I mean, I'm
So you're more at peace because you made all your pieces.
I made all my peace. And I told, I mean,
That's awesome.
Me and Mama had a very frank conversation. You know, I says, hey, I may not make it through this. I says, I know I said, if I'm somewhere else looking down on you, and I find out that you're still grieving about me 10 years later, I'll be pissed off.
Well, you did tell me that too. The night I came to the hospital,
Into the mic,
and it was
please.
just you and I, and you said to me, you make sure if something happens to me that Mama don't sit around too long.
No.
And I said, oh, don't even talk like that, because that ain't going to happen. Just tell me that you're not going to let her sit around too long. You'll get her out, and she needs to be happy.
We'll sell her if we have to.
You
know?
did, yeah.
No, but it was something. It was important for me to let her know that, listen, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, she says I'm all that. No, she won't say it, but she's saying she seems to think that I'm all that in a bag of chips.
Right now,
And-
give her
yeah.
2 weeks.
No, he's wearing thin already.
All right.
I need this. I need that.
Right.
Can you get me this? Yes.
She only been home 27 hours.
I know,
Right,
give her 2 weeks.
Oh, by the way, Wendy, if you're on there, I need to learn to be a better lesbian. Okay.
Wendy.
He's concerned about all the medications that
All
they
the
have and some
medication.
of the side effects. He may not be half the man he
so
used
I
to be.
need,
So
I understand that TGIF means tongue goes in first, but I needed to go in second, third, fourth. And okay.
You're gonna have to do some
For the
tongue
record,
strengthening
I
exercises.
need to. Yes.
I noticed
One,
you've been.
two,
I
three,
noticed
four.
you've been making a lot of posts about oral sex the last couple of days.
He's gonna be a biscuits and gravy eating motherfucker.
Yes, I was last night.
Oh, already.
God damn! You ain't even out of the hospital a
Well,
day, and
Mama,
you're already.
you know
eating
what?
her
I
out.
love Mama, and yes, I did, and it's for a very, very specific reason. Yes, I'm getting her to understand that life is more than sex, and despite
Wait. Let's repeat that. You said life is more than sex.
yes, he said that. Is that on? It's on tape, right?
Yeah, I got it recorded.
I
Audio and visual, Mama.
I enjoy my wood. Don't get me wrong, but Mama, when I met her very, very early on, I actually had to put on restrictions, sort of. I was holding out on purpose, not because I didn't want to have sex, but she needed to know that I was going to be there with her, regardless of whether or not we had sex or not.
Right.
She equated sex with love, and last night I was home, and she went back to her bare roots, and she wanted to be loved. So I damn near gave myself another heart attack.
Well, we know the ticker's working, right, Daddy?
Actually, afterwards, I said, ooh. And she says, oh, wait a minute. She felt my heart. She goes, are you okay? Are you okay? We shouldn't have done that. I said, that's why the tongue went in first. Shit. And then she had what was it Mexican or Irish?
I don't know.
It's Irish.
We're not
It's
supposed to
red,
be
white.
talking about that right now.
Yeah, she had a monster Irish dude.
Talking about her toys. Speaking of, you mentioned your son earlier. I had your kids Saturday night into Sunday. Brought no, I had them Sunday night and Sunday into Monday.
No.
Yeah, I took them to school on
You had
Monday.
them 2 nights. You had them 2 nights, didn't you?
No,
No.
Sunday
You with
night.
me.
Saturday they were
Sunday.
with the neighbor on Saturday night.
Sunday we went to get them, and then they went. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunday to Monday.
Everything's fucked up right now.
The oldest that you have in the house right now, your 13-year-old, was amazing. He did everything he could to keep those kids entertained and keep their minds off what was going on.
I'm noticing results.
He had he
scared,
engineered
Daddy.
an entire day-long zombie hunt for all of them, including the littlest one. She got to be the doctor, so when they got bit by zombies, they would go see the doctor.
That's
She
awesome.
would take care of them.
Look at, I know you would perk up over there.
And he did everything in his power to make sure those kids were being as entertained and as distracted as possible. And even though when there was a little bit of downtime and it was just the two of us, he told me, he said, I don't understand. My dad he's the healthiest guy I know. He's so strong. How could this happen to him? And I looked at him and I said, I'm not going to mince any words with you. I said, this may turn out to be one of those things where shit just happens.
And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And
When I came to and I talked to the doctors, and we understood that.
No, when he came to and like shocked the fucking doctors, let's call it that. Yes.
Okay, yeah, the doctors had issues with me. They were, yeah, I was.
No one can hold Vin Diesel down for too long.
I was.
I bet you he fared better than Vin Diesel
I
probably
bet
ever
you're
would.
right.
I think they called me Cold Steel.
Yeah, Steve Austin, Cold Stone Steve Austin.
Stone Cold. So yeah, they were walking around because after the first day, they're expecting me to go.
Well, usually the bedside, the doctors try to be friendly when they come in, and usually, especially in a situation like that, when you're in the ICU, you go, and this motherfucker gonna get up and shake the fucking doctor's hand.
How you doing? I reached my hand over the table. Doing great. How about yourself? And he shook my hand. He's like, hey, everybody, come here. You see this man? This man was frozen. He was frozen. He was the cold chill in the sky. The cold chill. This is the results you want to see.
Well, and then the other one that you shook his hand too. He comes in. He's like, "Oh, how you doing?" He was like, and he didn't see him come in at first, and so he was like, "Oh, I'm doing great," And he's like, "Oh shit!" Like, the look on the doctor's face was like, "What the fuck?"
Like somebody rose from the dead.
And he's like,
goddamn zombie DJ.
He looks at me, looks at him, looks at me, looks at him. He's like, what the hell? Like, and he's like, look, and he said, who's this young lady down at the end of your bed? And he said, he says, that's my hero. And he's like, you're what? He's like, that's my hero. And he said, what's her name? And he told him my name. And he said, what is she to you? And he said, that's my wife. And he just keeps looking at us like this, like, what the fuck is going on here? He's like, this is amazing. It's amazing.
Well, like she was saying, you talked about my son being confused. We did find out that there's a hereditary thing. My father's parents.
I did a whole study.
Well, they died from so.
Well,
if you die under 55 from a heart attack, it's considered hereditary.
Well, it's 55 for men, 65 for women.
Well,
yeah, because I did a research study on
my
it.
grandfather was in his 40s.
Yeah, your mom's. Yeah, I remember.
The grandfather on his father's side was 45, and
then you had another grandfather and 3 uncles, right?
Yep.
On his mother's side, yes.
Right.
I don't remember how much your grandfather is, how old he was on your mom's side, but
this was nobody's fault. And as soon as I found out it's hereditary, I said, okay, I got great insurance. I'm going to call the doctor's office. I'm going to line all my kids up. We're going to start running some tests. And when I was telling the doctor this, the doctor said, stop. Don't be stupid. Because you are not going to see this.
No.
Because if we would have ran this test on me 2 weeks ago, there would have been no telltale
There
signs.
are
he was
some-
saying
there
that
are
there's
some
like
factors,
a
yeah.
stress test. He said by the shape that he's in, because a lot of times for heart stuff, they do a stress test on you, and they make you walk on this treadmill, and they see how you are, and usually it's about 15 minutes. And then one doctor said that he could probably go 30 and not even have no stress in it at all because of how much he rides the bike and how much
Activity
he does
he
stuff,
gets.
and they would never even known it.
Well, I was there 2 times when the doctors came to talk to you, and that was the first thing they concentrated on was what's the family history, what's the family history, what's the family history. So I'm like, a red light's going off at me. Hey, there's something family history, about this. And if you think about that commercial that's on TV that says, your cholesterol, your heart is Aunt Susie and Uncle George. And well, when I was doing my little bit of research, they were saying that if you had a close relative, which is father, mother, sister, who had a heart attack, under 55 for men, 65 for women, you should have, starting in your 30s, one of the things is have your cholesterol checked.
Well, and that, you know
well,
what?
we
Yeah.
actually had a talk with one of the doctors that had came in, and he was talking about a study that they did and how they took mummies from Egypt.
Yep.
And how they did research on it, and every one of the mummies that they examined, all of them had buildup in their arteries, cholesterol and stuff like that. So
And they said these are really fit Egyptian
Right.
Yeah,
god
they,
type
their
people.
their diet was meat
no,
and vegetables. Yeah,
no preservatives,
no
'cause there
processed
was-
foods.
There
Yeah,
was no, and they still had this buildup in
Wow.
these
Well,
Egyptian
I didn't-
mummies.
That's interesting.
I actually didn't have any buildup in cholesterol because that part of my journey to a healthier me, healthy at any size. I don't care if I'm 300 pounds or 200 pounds or whatever. I just want to be healthy. But part of my journey started because I was on blood pressure medicine and cholesterol medicine, and but it's an ED issue.
Right.
For a guy, I mean, it really is. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it was really, really hard being horny in the head and shit ain't working.
Right.
That was unfucking acceptable.
And that happened when you were on the medication.
Fucking acceptable.
And wait, that was when you were on the blood pressure and the
Yeah.
cholesterol
Yeah,
medication.
that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, right about, because that's when we ended up stopped smoking then.
Yeah, it was about five-ish years ago, and I decided, you know what, this ain't gonna work for me. So
And you were a young man 5 years ago, 35 for the stop
So-
working at
well,
35.
I was also
Right.
pushing 300 pounds. I was wearing size 48 pants. When I got on the ground to play with my kids, I had trouble getting up to play with my kids. I don't know if you can see this. I haven't stretched today, and my foot still, the doctor looked at me like, "You've been sitting in bed all week and you can touch your fucking forehead?" I said, "Give me 20 minutes to stretch. I'll stretch it. I'll put it behind my head." But it was a journey because I decided that I didn't like that. So I decided, what do I need to do to get off this medication? So I didn't know how to eat. Most Americans don't know how to
No,
eat.
you're right.
Well, and not only that, but when you're on a lower budget, a lot of the foods are terrible.
Our
It's-
carbs,
which-
our
which-
carbs filled
carbs
in.
and
20%.
fatty meat.
Okay, when you get taxes as subsidies, what happens is you can now sell your product for less money because you still keep your profit margin. I believe, you guys have fact checked me on this, I believe the numbers are 20% of our subsidies go to preservatives, corn and soy, which really contribute to the fatty foods and preservatives.
Right.
5% of our tax subsidies for the food industry go to meat. Less than 1% go to the green shit. So if you want to eat right, there's a reason why the people on Beverly Hills can look fit because they pay a dietitian. When I got better, I went on a diet myself, and you know what? I crashed.
You didn't? Say
I did a really, really bad job of it. I mean, that was the first time I got knocked out in the gym, was because I don't want to take nothing away from the guy because he has a fucking heavy hands. But I was on a really self-proclaimed diet.
And what kind of diet? Can I ask?
No, I was just starving myself.
Okay,
basically.
okay, all right.
And I wasn't doing things right. I got clocked, and I said, this ain't working. So I went to go see a dietitian. After I was done seeing a dietitian, who
made you write all your shit down.
made me write all the shit down. Actually, I don't know which order it was. It was a dietitian and nutrition, or a nutrition and then dietitian. But I ended up going to like a 6-week class to teach me to and it's
Educate yourself.
re-educate me.
Yeah.
And it's taken me 4 years to get the light green stuff. So I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still food, so I'm still learning to eat. But it's I do the best that I can.
Stop hitting the table, goddammit.
Virtual hitting. I do the best that I can, but it's been a journry.
And you came from a family with a lot of children and a fixed
high
income,
fat.
right?
No, it wasn't fixed. My parents, my mom is my hero, one of my heroes. She's one of the people I admire the most in this world. There's nobody I've ever met in this planet that has worked harder. So my dad absolutely refused. His pride refused to allow him to take any kind of government subsidy. They overqualified, but he refused. And with that being said, he said, if we need more money, we need to get another job. So at one point in time, my dad had 3 jobs and my mom had 5. So
Wow.
so she worked 5 days a week. I think it was 20 hours a day.
So the food you had growing up was what they had to get to feed the family and make it work.
But back before they had plastic, I remember being a young man, dropping a jar of jelly, having it break on the floor, and my mom breaking down crying because she didn't have the 35 cents to go and replace the jar of jelly.
Wow.
But so she worked 20 hours a day, 5 days a week, and 17 hours a day on the weekend. She went into labor with 3 of her kids while she was at work, and 2 of those she finished her shift before she went to the hospital.
Wow.
Wow.
So
That's why I love that woman.
That's the world I come from. They set such high standards.
Right. All right. You've been listening to the Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City on Vegas, allnetradio.com, and streaming live video of DJ and Mama at the end of the counter here on SinCityBounty.com. We're talking about DJ's episode, heart attack, and all the things that we want you to know now that we've gone through this with Mama. So don't go away. We'll be back. And Wendy is trying to get herself online with us.